Hey everybody, Patty Ann here again today. Hey, do you remember yesterday when I made this really cute t-shirt that has this little guy on it that says, excuse me, my bird feeder's empty? Well, I got an email from someone and they said, you know, this is a really terrific, great video. Thank you so much for it, and you're so welcome. You know, I really love it when you guys comment and give thumbs up. It makes my day. But anyway, she said, do you think you can make an applique bird? So rather than stitching it, as I had shown yesterday, I'm going to show you how to make this bird, or one like it, into an applique like that. So stay tuned. Okay, here's my little bird, and the only thing I'm going to make applique is his body and his wings. I think I'll just have his feet stitch out. So to do that, I'm going to come up here because I need to go into Create, because I'm going to draw with points. And I'll just start right here by his neck and just start drawing with points. If I hold down my Shift key, notice my circle changes. See there, it's just a circle. And now if I hold down my Shift key, it puts that little line in it. I'll show you the difference between those in just a minute. Now I'm just kind of willy-nilly doing these. And I'm going to go around him a little more. Just holding, just clicking and clicking. That one didn't get clicked. Uh-oh, I just made two. Let me hit, if you mess up like that, just hit your backspace and it'll get rid of one of them. And the reason why I got messed up was because my computer's acting a little slow right now. But that's okay. So now I'm almost done. So I'm just going to hit the little tomato button and that closes it. Now I have a little trouble seeing my stitches because my image is so bright. So I'm going to make it a little bit more transparent by coming over here in the Objects panel, clicking on it to highlight it, and then this Properties panel opens up and I'm going to click on the transparency to make it more transparent. I see a mess up right there. But I wanted to show you something else. Right now I'm at a 1:1. If I want to get in, if I want to go in closer to see things, look at that. All I have to do is hit a number on my keyboard. There's a 5. Then I can hit the space bar and move this over, because then we can see this really easily here. Oh, my computer's slow. Now I can see that this is crossing over, and that's really going to make a mess. So I don't want it like that. So I need to fix this. And I can fix it like this. This might be a little too sharp of a curve. That I can move over. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. When I click on these, I'm able to adjust them. And depending on what kind of node or point I've made, that determines how I can adjust it. For example, I just opened a new page and I'll go again to the Create mode and go to Draw with Points. When I simply start drawing with points and I'm not holding down anything other than just clicking with my mouse button, here we go. When I start clicking and not holding down anything, check it out. These are all making curves, beautiful curves. Look at these curves I can make. But you know, sometime you may not want to make a curve. How do you do that? You simply hold down your Shift key, and I would like you to watch right here at my crosshairs how my cursor changes a little bit, or that circle that's attached to the cursor. So I'm going to hold down my Shift key, and did you notice what happened? It put a line through that circle where I'm drawing now. So that's going to allow me, and look at these. I can't make these have beautiful curves just like it had done before. These are called cusps. These are curve points, and these are cusps. Let me right click to end that. And I'd like you to look a little bit different to the difference between these. Notice that the line goes right through the center of these curve points, whereas over here on the cusps, there's a different sort of line that goes through it. And we're able to adjust these in different ways. So watch. For example, if I were to click on this one, click on that one right there, notice I get these two handles that are attached to that point, okay? There's two handles, one there and one there, attached to the point. If I move one of these, the other one moves automatically. It's almost like a seesaw. Imagine there's somebody on the left side of the seesaw, and when he goes down to the ground, the other guy goes up. When he goes up, the other guy goes down. So those are the curved lines. You can't make real sharp lines with those because it moves them both together. Then let's come over here and look at the cusps. The cusps also put two handles on each side of the node or the point, but when we click on one, notice it does. It just moves the one side. It's no longer a seesaw, right? It just moves the one side. So I'm able to click that one and then click this one and change these shapes a little differently. So for example, if I was making a heart, that's how I could make a heart. If I came over here to one of these rounded ones and I tried to make a heart, well, every time I would try to get that little thing in the center of the top part of the heart, it messes up and makes the other side go. Again, look at the cusp. I can make the heart shape by going like that, getting that handle, and taking this handle and going up like that. And then of course I could bring these over to make more of a heart shape. But I hope this helps you understand a little bit different between the curves and the cusps. And let's scroll back in. Move my space bar, maybe scroll out a little or closer a little bit. Space bar and move. Maybe I want to move his head a little cuter, a little rounder. This baby down a little bit like that. That looks good. Oh, we got a problem right here. Check this out. If we scroll in here, use my space bar to move over. See this? This is a problem right here. So we need to click on this. See which one of these is going to allow us to untangle that. See how it's tangled up? I can use that one right there to untangle it. And it's perfect like that. And again, these don't really have to go on these lines that much because nobody's going to see these lines. All right, so we have him pretty good right now. As I said, I'm just going to have him be the applique, and then I'll do his feet and his beak and all the other pieces regular. So to make him an applique right now, he's a line. All I have to do, if I have Stitch Artist, click on the Create mode, and then right underneath kind of where the Create Letters button is, there's a button here. If you highlight or hover over it, it says Applique. Watch what happens when I click on this. Wow, that turned that into an applique just like that. So I can click on the word applique, and right now, if you'll notice when I click on this word here in the Objects panel, if you look down here, I do have Fabric Preview selected. I'm going to deselect that because I want to be able to put his eyeballs and things in there. I have the border as a satin stitch. I could change that to a blanket stitch if you'd like that, or an E-stitch, or a satin or a zigzag. Whatever you like, you can change it to different types of stitches. I'm going to leave it on, I think I'll leave it on zigzag for now. And I can put my fabric preview back in there for a minute if I want to, or click that off. So now what I'm going to do is this. This is the applique position. I'm going to click on that to open it. It opens up the thread palette. What I want to do is to come up here to where it says applique, because what I want to do now with this position stitch is to make my cut file for my silhouette portrait. You can make it for your Cricut, for your scan and cut, whatever. So it's the applique position that you're going to do. I like to do my cutting inflate right here. I like to change it to 1.5 for my machine. You'll have to test it for yours. Okay, and then I'll say save. That's going to allow me to save this design as a scalable graphic, SVG, or I can save it as a scan and cut file, a silhouette file, a shortcuts a lot file. I'm just going to leave it as an SVG, and I'm going to name it Chick for YouTube, which I already have right here, and I'm going to say save. And it says it's already there. Do I want to replace it? Yes, because I don't want too many of these, so yes. This dialog box that comes up, just totally ignore it, just say okay, and then get rid of this. So what that do for us? Well, let's check it out. Let's open Silhouette. We could be opening Cricut too, and you could see it. And I'm going to go to File, Merge, and I'm going to merge this guy right here, Chick for YouTube. Okay, so that's going to do the cutting file that I need for my chick. Okay, so now what I would do is I'm going to get some fabric, and I'll show you what I'm going to do next, in case you're not sure how. One way to do applique. Okay, I'm going to be using, as I said, the Steam Seam 2 Light. It's because I got a big box like this when I worked at the quilt store where I used to work. Usually I like to use Terial Magic, but I rearranged my room a little bit today and I'm not sure where it is, so I'm just going to put a little gray starch on it before I start cutting. Got my iron already on. I love this little iron. It's really my favorite. Okay. I think he's going to be really cute out of this polka dot fabric. Okay, this is the Steam Seam 2 Light. It has paper on both sides of it. I'm just going to take the paper off one side, whichever side comes off more easily. I can tell this is the side that still has the sticky. So I'm going to put my fabric down on my ironing surface, wrong side up, and put this on top and iron it into place. And so that's ready to go. Then the next thing I'm going to do is put that on my mat for my portrait. When I put it on the mat for my portrait, oopsie, I put it paper side down. I put it like this. Okay. And then I'm going to load this into my portrait. It's just a regular blade that I'm using, nothing fancy. And I'm going to hit go over there on my machine or on my computer. Usually I would do a test sew first or cut, but I've already done that. And then here's my little cutout. It was messed up just a little bit on this wing because I had not quite wide enough of the Steam Seam 2 Light, but I think it'll work just fine. Okay, before we look up at my machine, I'm going to hoop my fabric in here. I'm just using the test t-shirt again. Oh, and I'm going to use cutaway, medium cutaway. Let's see, here it is. This worked good yesterday, so I'm assuming it'll work just as well today since I'm not even stitching as much. Let's get my scissors. Okay, there's that. And put this here. And then I'm just going to put my t-shirt on top willy-nilly. I'm not worrying about how I'm placing it because, as I said, this is just a sample for you guys. The only thing I'm not doing today is I'm not pre-pressing this t-shirt, so I don't know if that's going to affect anything. I guess we'll find out shortly. I'm just going to put this on here nicely, like so. Then, let's see my... I'll just come over here with the top part of my hoop. Stick it down there in that little corner. Try to make sure that these are lined up pretty much, the edges, and then just flip this down like that. And that should be perfect. and ready to go into my machine. And I did it a little different. Usually I like it where the bulk of the fabric is hanging off the edge. This time I didn't do it like that, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm going to put this in my machine. Make sure nothing's under the hoop that shouldn't be. Okay, that feels pretty good. And now, let's see if I can get you up like this. Okay, and over. All right, here we are. I'm going to go to the pocket, and this one with the, oh, there he is right there. I think it's this one. Oh gosh, pretty sure. Oh yeah, that's the one. So I've got him up there. You probably can't see it. And I'll say end edit, and we're sure it's going to fit in there, so it's not a problem. The first thing it's going to do are his little pumpkin feet. I'll just leave this yellow in there since it's in there already, and hit stitch. Okay, while this is stitching, I just thought I'd jump back in time just a little bit to show you how I finished him up and also how I got the design over to my embroidery machine. Okay, because you had seen me do another little fella like him yesterday, I'm not going to go ahead and go through that again. I'm going to go back to my one from yesterday and open it up here in the objects panel. And first thing I'm going to do is to grab the white and the black of his eye, come up here to copy, and then go to the new one and say paste. And they may be a little bit big. Oh, they look like they fit pretty good actually. So I'll just leave them like that. Maybe move them over just a tiny bit like such. Okay, and then I'm going to come back over to the excuse me guy, and I'm going to get his lower and upper beak without his feet. So I'm going to click his lower beak, hold down my control, get the upper beak, and then come up here again to copy. And come over here to paste. And there it is, perfect. And again, I could move it over a little bit if I want. And let's see what else. Oh, his feet. Let's go back over here to the original. Let's go down here and click the feet. There they are. Go to copy. Go to my new one. Right click and say paste. And I'll paste them right down there. They're a little smaller. So let's think about this for a second. What do we want to do first? I think just like before, I want to do his feet first so that the applique covers them. So I'm going to right click over here in the objects panel and say move first. Then we're going to do all of the applique, and then we'll do the eyes and the beak. I'm not going to put the text on here because you can look back at yesterday's to see how I did that. So now I'm going to say File, Save Stitch File. I'm just going to save a stitch file because I'm not going to save this forever and ever. Save Stitch File as, I'll name it Bird for YouTube Applique. And I'm going to save it as a PES file because that's what my machine uses. Say save. Then for my machine over there that I'm using, I can click on this thing right here. It's a database transfer. Let's see. I think I may have to open it again to repopulate it. So I named it Bird for YouTube right here. So I'm going to hit the down arrow. Here he is here. I should, right now it's going to my sewing machine. Okay, there it is. It's finished outputting the data. So now if we look over here at my machine, it should be there. Okay, it's time for the applique position stitch, and I'll just do it with the same color. Okay, that's ready to go now. Oh, I see it didn't stitch quite right here, but that's okay because I know what to do. I'm going to take my little guy here now and put him on here perfectly. So I need to stand up so I can line him up the way I think that he should go. There we go. That looks perfect. Now I could take him over to the ironing board and iron this on if I wanted to. but I think it will be okay. Let's see. Oh, whoopsie. Oh dear. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. So hopefully I have him placed on there well enough. It's kind of hard when you're doing it in front of the camera, but you get the idea, I'm sure. And then I guess I'll just use the same thread. Now this stitch is the tack down stitch. I thought it was, but it looks like it's doing a finishing stitch. Okay, he has finished embroidering and he turned out beautifully. The only thing is, I don't know if you noticed when I was showing, there was a placement stitch, but then there was no tack down stitch. And if you keep following me, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you over at the computer what I did wrong, but it still worked out okay. But here he is as an applique, and then there he is as the stitch file. And again, if I was doing this on a t-shirt black like this, wouldn't it be cool to have the text in yellow to match with him? So I'm super happy with how he turned out. I think it's adorable. And let's go back to the computer and I'll show you what happened. Okay, I wanted to show you where I'm missing a little bit of the design. If you'll notice, it says applique right here, and when I click on these colors down here and come to applique, this is the applique position, which we got just fine. That showed me where to put my fabric. But then for this one, this was the applique, and this was the final thing, and I messed with it and tried to make it do right, but it didn't. Let me show you what's wrong. Let's look over here at this one. If you look at this piece right here, and we look at this design that's called applique, look how many pieces there are down here. There's the applique position, the applique material, and the applique finishing stitch. And that's where I went wrong. So let me show you when I do it for you real quick. Let's pretend I'm doing a draw with points, and I'm just going to make a circular thing, and I'll end it right here by hitting the tomato. There it is. Let's say I want to make it into an applique. Remember, the applique button is right down almost below the create letters design, and I'm going to change it into applique. And when I come over here, when it first says applique, look down here in the properties panel. Notice it doesn't say fabric preview down here, nor does it say material. That's where I messed up. I had material unchecked. So watch this. If we do the stitch simulator now, it's going to do the placement stitch, and then it's going to go right to the finishing stitch. It's not look, it didn't do all of the tack down. However, and I guess I'll do another one right quick for you. I'll go to draw with points and draw with points and close it with the tomato. And now it says applique up here again because I just changed it to applique by clicking here. And notice right now, if I click material this time, watch what happens when I do the stitch simulator. It's going to do the placement stitch. Then it's going to do the tack down stitch and then the finishing stitch. So don't forget, when you're in applique in this part, make sure that you have all three: the applique position, the applique material where it stitches down the material, and then the finishing stitch. Otherwise you'll end up like I just did. Okay, that ends this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. The two versions of using the little chicks that I got from Creative Fabrica, one was a stitch out for a t-shirt and the other one is an applique for a t-shirt. I think they're both totally cute. I don't know which one I like better. Which one do you guys like better? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thanks for joining me. If you're in the market to purchase something, you know I have links down below for you, and I appreciate it when you use them. So I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.